This is Free Toast Host session 2 on agendas and scheduling. And I would like to introduce our presenters for tonight, David Adams, Distinguished Toastmaster, and Ram Venkat, Distinguished Toastmaster. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you everyone for joining. David, am I going first? I think I am.
Yes, right? You are.
Okay. All right. We will not waste too much time with the introductions and all those kind of things, because there is a lot to cover. And I want to welcome all of you to the class. I know there's only 14 of us minus 3, so 11 of us, but that's okay. I'm sure people will join as we go along. FreeToastHost, I am assuming I'm going to throw this out right there, that right at the onset, that this class is what we used to call the advanced FreeToastHost class. What that means is you are already aware on how to set up a FreeToastHost website. You already have at least the basic website for your club set up. You have your club members entered in with the correct roles that they play, or rather the officer roles that they have. That is a prerequisite, and you already know how to do that. I mean, that is a prerequisite for this class, because we are not going to go into that part of FreeToastHost. That's what we covered in the last session. Because that is something that you need to already have so that we can start working on the agenda. Anybody has any questions on that? Okay. I'm assuming.
Hi, this is Stan Leah from Eagle. My question is, I have not attended the previous session. However, we do have the club set up because another member has. Should I stay in the class or should I go and review part 1?
No, please do. Please stay in the class. It costs exactly the same. No, no, please stay in the class. You don't have to necessarily only attend the class that we had done before. If you're already aware of how to do it, it's good enough, and it is very easy to learn. And I think she just posted the video of the YouTube video of our first session. You can watch that later. A lot of what you have to do, you'll have to do it. I'm not going to say trial and error, but you'll have to kind of play with it a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. And I don't have a PowerPoint or anything like that for this session, because it's not about PowerPoint. It's about how to actually do it. So I'm going to jump right in and share my screen and go from here. All right. Can you enable screen sharing?
You have it, sir.
Okay. And David, if you can pay attention to whoever is in the chat, if they have any questions or anything like that, and I'll do the same when you are talking.
Perfect.
Minimize my screen here. All right, let's go back here. Awesome, thank you. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. This is my club's FreeToastHost website. And I actually you need to have, in order to be able to use the agendas, to set up agendas and use them effectively, you need to have the admin rights for your club's FreeToastHost site. That is a requirement as well. So in order to save time, I already logged in as the site admin for my club's website. Since I'm already logged in, that's why it says log out as site admin, right? Which means I'm already logged in as the site admin. I am also logged in as a club member, which is why it says log out as from Venkat DTM. So I'm logged in 2 different profiles right now. The first thing that you would do, let's say you have a basic club website that looks like this. This is not very fancy. It's pretty basic, actually. And you have all your club members entered in in the officer roles that they have. And not everyone obviously has an officer role. So you have all your officer roles, you have your non-officers, you have all that entered correctly. All your club members are in there, and that is, you have to have every club member in there. Otherwise, this will not work. Okay, so let's say we have all that. The first thing we need to do is to set up a template for your meeting. So for that, what you would do is you would launch the admin console. Can everyone see this? Because this is a pop-up window. Okay, I'm going to go to the large size, which is what that is, I guess. Okay, and if you select a module, and the last but one over here is meeting agenda settings. So you click on that and you'll see that this is kind of standard with FreeToastHost. There is a lot of buttons and options and things that you can do, and you don't have to learn everything. You know, I don't know everything in FreeToastHost. My club doesn't use everything in FreeToastHost, but we have been effectively using the agendas for the last 4 years now. So you don't have, and sometimes there's too much customization is what I feel. I don't know if David agrees or not. And you don't need to do, you can go crazy with the fonts and the bolds and the italics and all that. Don't waste time doing things like that. Yes, you can make it look as pretty as you want, but you will get it functional if you just choose the basics. Okay, so, and it says select an agenda template to load. If you look at this, this is 3 agendas that my club, this is a live site. This is 3 agendas that my club has. These are agenda templates, not the agendas itself. Agenda template is a template. Agenda is something that you have. It's an instance of using the template is the agenda itself. So my club has 3 templates, one for club contest, one for meeting agenda template, which is our bread and butter meeting, which is 2 speeches and 2 table topics, and one for officer meeting. Your club may have multiple templates. Your club may only have 1 template. That all depends upon what your club does. Now, let's for the sake of this meeting, let's create a new template. Let's say my club, we meet every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Let's say that we have a new meeting that we are doing once a month, Saturdays at 10 a.m. with only 1 speech, table topics. Let's say that's our new thing that our club has started. How do we want to do that? Okay, so now we create a template. So we're going to say create a template by clicking on this plus button. You'll see that throughout FreeToastHost, this plus button, obviously the trash can button, these are all standard buttons that they use for things to do. Now, so I would go here and say plus, which means I'm going to start creating a new template. So I'm going to call this weekend meeting. And our weekend meetings are supposed to start at, let's say, 11 a.m. This is when the agenda, I'm creating a template for the once a month weekend meeting. That's what we are trying to do here. I'm going to save it. So now, if you look at it, I have 4 agenda templates. The 4th one is the weekend template. Now I have to add items into this weekend template. And here's where I really love FreeToastHost. You can, it already picked up 11 a.m. because that's what I did as the start time. And then it has meeting venues. And let us say that, I have a lot of these are fake. We do not meet in the Ritz-Carlton. I'm assuming that I did that when I did a training previously. Okay, so right now we are meeting in one of our members' office. There was a meeting that we met in my house, or we do hybrid or virtual or office. This is kind of what we do for our club. And I'll show you how to create a meeting venue. You can go in here and say, what's a good meeting venue? Okay, so I'm going to say, you can do this and you can say, give me 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Spelling. The good thing is any address that you give here, it is understandable by Google Maps. Because it'll come in as a hyperlink into your agenda. So there's a lot of cool things that you can have. And then you can have venue links. If you have a link for your venue, and I'm not going to go into all that. You can have a photo for your venue. You can have any number of, you can make it as fancy as you want. Okay, so I'm going to save that venue. And if you actually click on view map, it'll actually take you to Google. And if the address is recognizable by Google Maps, it'll take you there. What that means is if you are sending this agenda via email to someone, they can actually click on your venue and say, oh, that's where that is. So it's pretty cool, actually. All right, I'm going to close that. And I am going to say that, okay, my weekend meeting agenda will be at this new venue that I have created in addition to everything else that I have. And now I have to add items to this agenda. Let's say, for obviously you're not going to go into a full-blown agenda here. Let's just say the first thing is SAA to welcome. Okay, so that's the first agenda. SAA starts the meeting, and you can have a description in here on what that involves. And I'll show you our completed agenda that we use. And I am giving it, let's say, 2 minutes for the SAA to do the pledge and welcome. Your agenda will have to be set up depending upon what your club does. So this is the part that I said you'll have to kind of play around with it. And these boxes are critical. Here it says this is a role for which members can sign up. Not really. The SAA is one constant person in this club. So, it's not, you don't want people to sign up for that role. It's always permanently assigned to a certain person. This is a speech? No, this is not a speech. This is not a speech from a Toastmasters perspective. Yes, this is a speech. And this role should appear on the printed agenda. Yes. The person assigned to this role can edit this meeting agenda. No, you don't want the SAA to go in and edit every meeting agenda that you have. And then you click on that, click on save. And now the first item has been added. So it says 11 a.m. your meeting started, because that's what I said. The template meeting starts, and until 11:02 SAA to welcome, right? Any questions so far? Nope, I don't see any. All right. And the next item in here is, let us say, Toastmaster speech. Okay. Now that I'm going to say is this is the Toastmasters theme speech. Toastmaster talks for, let's say, 5 minutes. And I'm going to say this is a role for which members can sign up. Absolutely, because Toastmaster people, you don't want people to sign up for that role. Is this a speech? No, it is not a speech. Again, same thing. This person assigned to this role can edit this meeting agenda. I would say yes, because he or she is the Toastmaster and you want to give them the ability to edit the meeting. I'm going to say yes for that, and then click on save. Now you have 2 items. Now I'm going to say third item is, without going into too much, I'm going to say table topics. Okay, so table topics, I'm going to say it takes about 15 minutes. This is a role for which the members can sign up for. Yes, this is not a speech. And this role should appear on the printing meeting agenda. You do not want the table topics master to edit the meeting. I'm going to say save. Okay, before table topics, I should have said speaker 1. I forgot. So I'm going to say speaker 1. Assign time, let's say 9 minutes. This is a role for which members can sign up for. Absolutely. This is a speech. Yes, and it is critical, and I'll show you why. This role should appear on the print. Of course, yes. And you do not want the speaker to edit the meeting agenda. So I'm going to say yes. And let's move on. And I'm going to say evaluator 1. And same thing, members can sign up. It is not a speech. This is all good. And 2 things I want to come back and do. What else? Close meeting. Okay, it's a very, very quick meeting in this case. And I'm going to say 5 minutes. And save. Okay, so we have a basic template here. And let's look at this. So it says SAA starts the meeting, followed by the Toastmaster intro, and then the table topics, and then the speaker, and then the evaluator, and then close. Well, something is not right. You do not want the table topics to go before the speaker, right? So I have to move the speaker over here. Very easy. Go to speaker and say, click on the up arrow. Boom, speaker is gone before table topics. Now, speaker one is over here, table topics is over here, evaluator is after that, and then close meeting. Now that makes sense to me. Now, let's say I come back and say, well, evaluator doesn't need 7 minutes. It's a 2 to 3 minute evaluation. Let's edit that and say the evaluator, okay, so let's say they go over a little bit. So I'm going to give them 5 minutes and click on save. If I'm doing the evaluation, I generally require 15. So let's say we do, so we edited this, and now evaluator has 5 minutes, and you can see that your meeting started at 11 and it ended at 11:41. But of course, you're going to have grammarian, counter, you're going to have all those roles. So your actual, I mean, this is fake, obviously, we just created it here. So your actual meeting agenda, you'll have to play around with that a little bit, to assign timings and things like that. And it'll take a bit for you to come up with a working agenda that your club can use. And you'll have to try it out in a few club meetings and then come back and edit the agenda, not the agenda, but the template itself. And that's how you create an agenda. Now, I'm going to show you an agenda that my club uses. This is something that we have used for almost 4 years now. And if you look at, again, this is an agenda. So it says we start at 7:05. Don't ask me why we start at 7:05. That's how our club, I've loaded that, and it shows all the different, and virtual Zoom meeting is our default venue. But if we have a certain meeting that we are meeting in a different place, then we change it accordingly. Again, this is the template. This is not the actual agenda itself. Now, if you look at our meeting, we start at 7:05. First is call to order, SAA, and then we have welcome, presiding officer. This is a live agenda that we use. And then we have a presentation for Toastmaster. And as you can see, there is a little bit of detail in here as to what the Toastmaster does. And why is all this relevant? Because eventually, let's say you have multiple guests in your club. They don't know anything about Toastmasters. You're going to give them an agenda. That's the first deliverable they have. And they are going to be confused as to what's a Toastmaster do? What's the grammarian do? What's the counter do? So if you give descriptions in there as to what those roles mean and what they do, it makes it easier for them, for the guests to follow along. Same thing with grammarian. And then we have timer, grammarian, counter. Nothing super confusing here, just a standard template that almost all clubs do. You introduce your role holders, and then you have the speech one evaluator, and then you have the speech one. And then you have 1 minute to provide written constructive feedback to the speaker. And then speech two, then feedback, Toastmaster to call for timers report, table topics, call for grammarians report, and then you have a section. And then at the end of the meeting, you have counter report, vote counter report, conclusion. And as you can see, the conclusion is automatically assigned to the presiding officer of the club, who is the president of the club, right? I mean, the presiding officer is always the president of the club. So we have a yearly leadership, so it doesn't change in 1 year. And then the wrap up of the meeting, and it goes to the VPE of the club, who asks for role holders for the next meeting. That's the template that our club uses. Now, your club may be a little different. You may be doing things differently. You may not have 2 speakers, or you may have 3 speakers. If that is the case, you'll need to modify accordingly. That's how, in a nutshell, you will create an agenda. questions about creating agendas? No questions? Oh, wait, I see some in the chat. Oh, no, it's all Naomi. Okay.
Yes,
question?
I have a question.
Sure.
You said that this was a template, right?
Yes, it is.
So, how do you make this the agenda? Do you
Okay.
copy it? That's next,
All
right?
that. All that.
Okay.
That's our next topic.
Okay.
Any other question about creating a template itself? Okay. All right. One more thing I want to show here is that Toastmasters, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Toastmasters also has some pre-created templates, like for a 1 hour meeting and a 2 hour meeting, and they are pretty good actually. When my club started using FreeToastHost, that's what we used, the templates that was already, it's prepackaged templates that you can just use and edit accordingly. Okay, so no other questions. So we are going to get into, okay, now I've created my templates. I'll show you the other templates that my club has. One is, we have one for officer meeting. I see a question from Violet. Hang on, Violet, just for 1 second. So we have officer meeting template, and that looks like this. Basically, we just go from president starts the meeting and each person gets 3 minutes to present their part. So that's what our meeting, and these are all automatically assigned to different people. We have a meeting for club contest. It's the simplest thing ever. It's 60 minutes and it says club contest today. So anyone who is going, let's say we do our club contest the same time we have meetings, or rather Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. So if anybody goes in and say, oh, what's the, let me look at the agenda for next Tuesday. And let's say we have a club contest schedule. All they're going to see is this, 7 p.m. for next Tuesday would be club contest. So it'll say our club is having a club contest today and will not have, okay, we need to fix the grammar there, will not be holding a regularly scheduled meeting. It's basically what they will see when they look at that agenda for that meeting. And of course, the club contest itself will have its own agenda, which looks different. We did not create a template for that. I guess you can if you want to, but it's going to be super complicated. All right. I am going to close this. Oh, Violet, question.
Yes, you said that Toastmasters has already a pre-done schedule. Is that in here? Can you grab it from in here?
No,
or you have to put it in here?
I don't think you can grab it here. I'll show you where you can grab it. So that's where we are headed to next.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So we're going to close this. And a couple of more things I do want to say here in the agenda is that there are some global settings, and you can look at this. In your meeting agendas, you can say how many past meetings should you show in the list of meetings that you have. We have it set to 2. We should have set it to like 5 or so, and you can have any number of these. I'm sure there's a limit. And then you have all these different options. This is where I said sometimes FreeToastHost goes a little overboard with the options, and it says that, okay, if a member indicates they are not attending a meeting, who should you notify? Do you notify all these people? Do you notify all the club officers? So those are things that you guys need to figure out. Who needs to get these barrage of emails? Let's say your club has 20 people, there's going to be a lot of activity there. People are going to say, oh, I'm attending, I'm not attending. And then someone's going to say, well, I thought I was attending, but now I'm not attending, and vice versa. Do you want emails to go out to multiple people? I certainly don't. But if you have someone who doesn't mind seeing all these emails, then set all these. So it says that how many number of meetings and who should get these emails. And you can, we're not going to go into each of these options. If someone takes a meeting role, someone drops a meeting role, or someone confirms a meeting role, you can make it, you can set it in such a way that an email will go to someone or many people. So all that is something that you need to kind of think it through and see, do we need to send emails to everybody? And then you have a default meeting description. This is something that happens when you print the agenda. This will come as a title for the agenda, and it kind of looks good. And then obviously this is the part that we went through in detail, the agenda template itself. Okay, I'm going to close this and I'm going to go into how do we actually use these agenda templates into creating weekly agendas. So if you go to members only, right, and you should have, you would have had to be logged in as a member for this. Otherwise, this entire section is not clickable. And you go to meeting agendas, and you will see that FreeToastHost will automatically default to the next meeting that you have. So we have a meeting tomorrow on February 7th, and we're not doing too good in terms of signups. Okay, that's a different topic for a different day. Okay. So it'll default to the next available meeting that's out there. So it says February 7th, here are all your meeting agenda. Here are all your signups. And it says, so you have a presiding officer permanently assigned to the president of the club. Someone signed up as a Toastmaster. In this case, Deepa Venkat signed up as a Toastmaster. Someone, I'm permanently assigned as a vote counter in my club because I have control over Zoom. See, that's what I said. It depends upon what your club culture is. I signed up as the speaker tomorrow, and someone signed up for table topics and someone signed up for evaluator. So not too bad. We are missing some role holders. This never used to be a problem 2 years back. Nowadays, it's a struggle. Again, different topic, different conversation. Now, this is a live agenda that you can see here. And easy way to sign up for a role. Let's say if I want to sign up as a grammarian for tomorrow, I just log into FreeToastHost and I say sign up. That's it. I'm signed up. It's one click, and there are easier ways to sign up. And if we have time, I do want to give David some time to talk about his part. There are some easier ways to sign up for roles, and we'll get into that as well. So that's how you sign up for a role. Let's say now I signed up as a grammarian. Now I have to edit the word of the day. As you can see, there is a boilerplate here to edit the word of the day. How do I do that? I go in here and I say, okay, it's the tomorrow's meeting. I click on this little pencil button here and I say, edit this meeting agenda. And now I am in edit mode. Now I come into grammarian and I got to go in here and say, edit that. And I can now edit this. As you can see, that's how we do it. And you can edit that particular line item and say that this is the word of the day and this is what this means. And here's an example. You can add that in there. I'm going to close it for now. And let's do it this way. Because this is an actual agenda for tomorrow's meeting, I don't want to mess with this, because if I forget to undo all the damage that I caused, someone in my club will get confused. David, I have a question. I mean, you have a question, sorry.
Yeah, it's more of a point out. I think what's really interesting about FreeToastHost, maybe everyone knows this, can you go down to where your speech is when someone actually signs up, that you can actually designate your speech, and it has you put your title, your introduction, as well as.
Oh, gotcha.
And I think, I don't know if you have it on yours, but you can actually download the evaluation form if you.
Right. So yeah, good point. I forgot to mention that. So if you remember, when we set up the template, there was a little checkbox that said, this is a speech, right? So this was the item in there, speech number 1. So that particular item in the template was set up as, this is a speech. What that means is, when you actually create an agenda based off of the template, you will get this option where it says role filled by Ram, and it says path, project, and time. And it says choose path and project, right? So I can say, oh, I am in dynamic leadership. I'm doing my icebreaker, and all 11 paths and every single project within that path are in here. I'll collapse this. As you can see, every single path is in here. This is really, really awesome. Now, you are not in a situation where before, when my club was started back in 2017, we did not use FreeToastHost. We were using a Google Sheet. So we always had the situation where the meeting is started, and now the evaluator was like, oh, where's the form? Where's the form that I need to fill out? And the rule was that the speaker should print the form and give it to the evaluator before the meeting. Well, half the time they forget to do that. And now they are about to go on to the stage and speak. And now we are looking for the form and no one can find it. And it's not easy to find the form in toastmasters.org. And what happens at the end is that we have these generic evaluation forms, like 20 of them printed already, and you end up giving feedback on the generic evaluation form. That's not what you want. You want the specific. Generic evaluation forms are okay for the initial stages if you're doing the basic speeches and all that. But sometimes you're doing advanced speeches like level 4 and level 5s and all. You don't want the generic evaluation forms, but it's already too late. You're already in the meeting. But that's the advantage you have here. Now I can say, oh, I'm in Pathways Dynamic Leadership. I am going to do, my level 3, know your sense of humor. That's the speech that I'm doing. I click that, and now I give my speech title. And if your club does speech introductions beforehand, you can put that in there as the speaker. Now I give my speech title here, and here is the evaluation form, and it takes you automatically to that specific evaluation form. This is what David was mentioning earlier. And here's the other big thing. You can just edit right here. So your evaluator does not have to sit and figure out, oh, where do I find the evaluation form for this, because it is automatically there. And this evaluation form is specific to the speech that you are making. And it also tells the evaluator, what am I looking for? So click on the project description. It tells you what is the purpose of the speech, what is the overview, and what to expect. So when the evaluator is introducing you, or when the Toastmaster says to the evaluator, go ahead and give the purpose of David Adams' speech today, all I have to do as his evaluator is, the purpose of his speech today is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. And then I go back, his speech title is here. I introduce the speaker, I give the speech title, then I go to the evaluation, I start typing in then and there. Easy. That's a great advantage. This is one of the favorite things of FreeToastHost that I like. Thank you, David, for pointing that out.
Ram, does that automatically save? Because I thought it didn't automatically save.
What do you mean by save?
Okay, you're the evaluator, you're typing it in. Don't you have to save it for it to save, like on your personal computer?
Yes.
Yeah, you do have to save.
Okay.
You do have to save it. I mean, if your club is meeting in person, yeah, you don't want to be typing it in at that time. But if you're meeting hybrid, you can always put your points in here, or you can write it down and then enter it later and then email it to them. So there's all these options that are available for you. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create, because I've already messed up with this, so I need to undo all this, because that is not the speech I'm giving tomorrow. So I'm going to create another agenda based off of our template. So I come here and I go to meeting agendas, which will take you here. And let's say I want to create a new agenda for a meeting on Saturday, right? Because we created a, what did we do? We created a template now. I'm going to say, create new agenda. When is that? Okay, we're going to start our Saturday meetings on the 11th. So I said February 11th. And here's the cool thing. You don't have to actually say meeting start at 11 o'clock, because when you say create a meeting agenda from this template, and we just created a template here called weekend meeting. So you load that, it'll automatically change it to 11 o'clock. And this is what I want to point out, Violet. You asked a question. Where do you get the pre-packaged agendas? This is where you get it from.
Thank you.
Our template and the 2-hour template. So the you can use this. But for now, because it has a lot of items in here, I'm going to go to the weekend meeting. And it says, do you want to meet at 11? Because that's what the weekend template was set up to, meeting at 11 o'clock. I'm going to say, yes, I do want to meet at 11. That's the reason why it is. It was set up to start at 11 o'clock. So you say, yes. All right. Now it says, okay, I've loaded your template for February 11th, 11 o'clock is when you are meeting. And you can call this club meeting Saturdays, right? And then which venue do you want? Well, we are going to meet at the Ritz-Carlton on Saturday. You can say that, and then you click save. And now, if I close this, oh, close, come on.
I think you have to save it as a new agenda.
Right. Okay, now close it. Sorry, I didn't save it. All right. Okay, so now it says I've loaded up the meeting agenda for the 11th because I just created it, and now it says, what do we want to do? So I'm going to say that, okay, I'm Ram. I'm signed in as Ram. I'm going to say that I am going to be the Toastmaster for that particular Saturday meeting. So I signed up and I said confirm. Now, all I have to do in this case is so people will know that, okay, we are meeting on Saturday, and all they have to do is sign in as themselves and go in here and say who they should sign up as. Now, here's a cool thing that you can do. This is what my club does. We go in and we say, let me send an email to everybody, and it says email this meeting agenda, right? So you can, so today is Monday. We're having a meeting on Saturday, right? This fake meeting, we're going to do it on Saturday. So I can go in and say, for people to sign up for roles, they can actually log in and sign up like what I just did. Or I can do this. Let's say I'm the VPE of the club. I can say email this meeting. And if you see here, it says send this email to all club members, obviously, right? Because I want everybody to sign up for different roles. And I'm going to say send replies to this sender. Again, forget about all of this. And I have email tools, right? I'm going to say load an email template. You can send multiple emails from FreeToastHost. Now I have multiple email. I have different templates saved up, and I'm saying load up this email template. And I have these templates. I have sign up. I have a template called sign up for roles, right? I'm going to select that, and I'm going to say load template. I'm going to say no here. And if you look at this, let me make this bigger. So here it says, dear first name within squiggly brackets, and we'll get into that. It says, looking forward to seeing you in our next Cruise Masters meeting on this date at this time. Please take a moment to sign up for a role by clicking on sign up below. You should be able to directly sign up for a role from your email below without having to log into FreeToastHost. If you have any questions about signing up for a role, please contact Ram at this number or at this email. Thanks. And FreeToastHost admin for this club. So this is a template. So I'm not going to do this right now because it'll go to every single person in my club, but I'll show you something that actually did go out. You can create a template like this. And what does all these mean? These are variables. So if you look at the list of variables, it's you can insert next meeting date, right? So, okay, first let's look at this. Dear first name. It's a member's first name is what that is. And looking forward to seeing you at the next. So when this email goes out, FreeToastHost substitutes these variables with the actual meeting. So it'll pick up the meeting date from February 11th and it'll stick it in there. And it'll say at 11 a.m. And you can have any number of variables, right? And you can have something that says our next meeting will be at this time on that date, or it'll pick up all those kind of information. You don't need to do every single thing. You don't need to use every single variable. And again, you can have your club name as a variable. You can have your club number. You can have your club's website. There's so many different things, like admin name, for example. In my template, my name is automatically showing as the admin, but if your club has I'm permanently the admin for my club. For the last 4 years, I'm the admin for my club. But if your club has a different admin, which is hopefully probably the way we should do it also, if you have a different admin for every month, then you can have that as a variable as well. Again, you can go crazy with these kind of things. We only have 2 templates. We have this template, which we send 1 week prior to the meeting, asking people to sign up for roles. And we have another template, which I'll show you as well, which says final agenda email. And if I load that, it'll say something like this. This we send on the day of the meeting. And it says, dear whoever, looking forward to seeing you in the next Cruise Masters meeting today at 7 p.m. Here's the final agenda for today's meeting. Please make every effort to join the meeting, even if you do not have an assigned role. So you can modify the template depending upon what your club requirements are, and you can send these emails out. And how does this actually work? Let's look at that before I turn this off and go somewhere else. Any questions? No, either I'm doing an awesome job or a really awful job.
Good job.
Thank you. So
Good job.
I'm going to close this. So that's how you use templates, right? And let's say this meeting is on the 11th. Now I want to delete it because it's a fake meeting. I do not want anybody from my club to get confused and say, is there a meeting on Saturday? So all I have to do is load up that particular agenda, and I go here and click on delete. And because it's an agenda that has items in there, FreeToastHost actually wants me to type in the word delete, which I'm glad it does, and then do a delete. Okay, now it's deleted. Now it's going back to February 7th again. And if you can look at it, it says February 7th and then the 21st. So I can go into so if I want to sign up for a role for the 21st, I can go and load that one. Like, you pick that particular agenda from here. And then I can say that, okay, I'm signing up as the, what do I want to sign up as? Timer for that particular meeting. And I'm signing up as the table topics master for that particular meeting. And you can confirm. And depending upon how your club website is set up, it may or may not send emails to people. Now, when you actually get that email, how does it actually look? Oh, another thing that I want to mention is that, let's say I signed up as a Toastmaster for this meeting and I want to put a meeting theme in here. I can click on edit this meeting agenda, and then I can go to agenda setup. I can go to meeting description, and I can edit the agenda in here. Another thing I want to mention also, I know I'm running out of time, is I can edit each individual meeting. And what would generally happen? Let's say that on the, let me load up one for the 21st, right? Okay, I see that I signed up as a timer, and let's say we have speech 1, which is, let's say this happens all the time. We only have one speech on the 21st. Let's say we only have one speech. Now, what do? We can leave speech 2 as blank. That's one option. Yes, but the template, the printed agenda will look a little ugly. So what I can do is I can go here and say edit this meeting agenda. And I can say delete speech 2. I'm not going to do it now, but I can click on this little trash bin here and say delete speech 2. Again, I'm not deleting from the template. I'm deleting from the occurrence of the template. the agenda. So you're not messing with the template at all. So you have to make sure that you delete off the right thing. Don't go into the template and delete it, because that'll be permanent. You're deleting only for, so you have to look here. It says editing meeting agenda for the 25. I'm only deleting the meeting, deleting an item from the meeting agenda for a specific meeting. So I can delete speech number 2 and speech number 2 evaluator, right? So if we only have one speech, and then it'll automatically update the timings and everything. It's pretty cool. I really advise you to try it. Another thing that you may want to do, speech number 1 is, let's say speaker says, oh, it's my long project. It's a 15-minute speech. Again, you can go into edit and change this to 15. When you change this to 15, it'll again readjust the timings accordingly. That's a beauty of the FreeToastHost. You don't have to worry about it all. And then you can adjust things here and there. You can, add a minute to the Toastmaster. You can subtract 5 minutes from table topics, and you can adjust it, as much as you want, if you care for that level of granular detail. And the last thing I'm going to show is what happens if you print it. So you can print this. Let me load up tomorrow's meeting. David, I may not have more than 10 minutes for you. So I'm going to go quick. So if I print this, this is the layout that we generally use. It prints nicely. Can everyone see my print dialog?
Yes.
Okay, so it shows like this. Of course, we haven't edited all these things, and you can have multiple things that you can print. There's a lot of options. You can print the intros. You can choose not to print the intros. Again, too many details to go into. I would advise you to try all those out. We like this format because it tells you who are all the contact people, and club mission and everything. It looks nice and professional. You can print this black and white. You can save it as a PDF and email it to people. All those things you can do. And then there's also reports that you can run. This little person icon, you can run reports. And that is it from my side. I'm going to give David about 10 minutes. So sorry, David, I know I was supposed to give you 15 or 20, but I'm going to shut up now. David, go ahead.
Can I share my screen there, please?
I'm stopped. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ram. You did a great job in lining it up and really getting what's really important for setting up the agenda. What I thought I'd kind of do is share a few best practices, what we do at our PMI Dallas Toastmasters. We meet once a month and we have 2-hour meetings, and we typically schedule 5 speeches and table topics and of course the evaluation. It's a 2-hour meeting. And because we're a restricted club and we have specific things we need to do for project management, we have set agenda. So what we've actually done is we've actually loaded up into our toast. So this is kind of our template. So we have a theme and a word of a day that's on every list, and you can actually go through and we load those up for the year. So because that's February's meeting, that's March, and so on and so forth. And what's really nice about that, because we have so many members, we have about 35 members, and we have anywhere from 10 to 15 guests. If the meetings, the meetings are full as far as the speeches, you can look in the future and sign up for speeches ahead of time. So you can actually say, I can't make it this month, but next month or March or April, I can sign up for his particular speech. So that's a really nice, so launching on what Ram said, having those in there and saving all those, so you can actually see here all the agendas that are down there, and you can load those up for the year if you want. And whether you do monthly, bi-weekly or weekly, you can put all those in. I'm sort of old school as far as the invitations. I don't use the fancy thing that Ram has used. I just send out an email and I kind of put a funny meme in there. And we have a 2-step process for signing up. We have to sign up through our PMI chapters, and that's where we get credit for the PDUs and then also the sign up. So it's really just kind of gigging people how to get going. So one of the best practices are starting a week or 2 weeks ahead of time, you can get all those roles filled. And so those sending those nagograms that I like to call, that really helps out what you want to do. Let me go back. Back to the meeting agenda software. One of the things that we do as far as, like, for instance, this last meeting, we get a lot of guests. And as Ram mentioned, unless your name is in the pull down list, you can't sign up. And sometimes our guests, what we want to do is we can actually sign up. Well, there's a way to get around that. Like, for instance, I had a guy, and you can actually put, instead of having the area over here as far as the sign up, you can unclick that and just on the posture monitor. In this case, I put guests in the name. So at least you have that record in place. And so other people won't accidentally sign up for the posture monitor. And like what, just to reiterate what Ram said, having those speeches and having all those details in place, it really helps out, especially the evaluation forms. Now, since we have all those agendas in there, there's always going to be modifications. And so when we have 5 speeches, and like last month, we only had 2 speeches, we'll go out. One of the things we'll have to do is kill 3 speeches and 3 evaluations. Because what we want to have is a book of record at the end of the day. The information is recorded in the FreeToastHost, but we use the download that is the PDF copy to finalize. So we go back in, and because as you know, some people show up, some people don't. You have roles change, and the Toastmasters kind of judging that. But we have an act that right after the meeting, we go modify to get all the right names and all the right people that have done the particular things that they need to do. So that becomes our final book of record. So just to reiterate, I think what Ram has said, it's very easy to set up these templates. We have a lot of those, and you can see all the information that's in here as far as having as much detail helps the guests. We usually have 10 to 15 guests. And so we're spending a lot of time in there. And obviously we're trying to get them to sign up for these especially the duty holder roles. So all that details in there. And if you have what Ram has said, and so what we do is, like in the case, let's say our area director comes in, we'll go in there and we'll modify like what Ram has done is in the admin role, as far as adding a separate line item. And I'll take an example. So let's say, for instance, an ad, the area director was going to come in. You can just go ahead in the very bottom and add that last feature saying AD announcements. And he's talking about the speech contest. And like Ram said, this is not a role you can sign up for. It's going to be the area director, and you want it to appear. And let's say you don't want, if you save it, it's going to be at the very end. Well, we're not necessarily going to have that at the very end. And as Ram has mentioned, you can move those up in the agenda wherever you feel is necessary. So in this case, it's here. You just keep clicking the arrow up where you want it to appear in the agenda. That make sense?
Yes.
That's all I got. Any other comments or questions? As we have 5 minutes left.
Just thank you both for all the information you provided us with. We really appreciate it.
And this is Stanley again. I had one question regarding the evaluation. And you can fill it out, you can populate it while on the screen. But to my understanding, then you have to download it to your own computer in order to save it.
Yes.
Any of these hard documents, do they have to be downloaded if I wanted some of my team members or club members to do the evaluation or the word of the day? Does that all print out on the at the end?
Not necessarily, but one of the tricks that we do, because we're doing the hybrid meetings, we post the PDF copy of the meeting agenda in the chat, as well as sometimes we put the entire evaluation. It's not a bad idea to share the evaluation sheet with people so they can all kind of be looking what you're doing. One of the things we adapted, and I got this when I was auditing a meeting in the UK, they do something called shotgun evaluations after each table topic. So for 30 to 60 seconds afterwards, they voluntold someone to do a 30 to 60 second evaluation right after a table topic. And that's been an awesome thing we've added to our agenda.
Wow, okay.
Because everyone's talking, you're always paying attention. You're always trying to say, I got to be in the meeting.
So they shotgun, do they evaluate one table topic response?
Yes, right after. So let's say you're saying what's your favorite Valentine, and you gave the speech, and then you called on me to do an evaluation. I have 30 seconds to say one thing I liked and one thing you might want to build on.
And you never know when you're going to be called or
No.
which table topic. Oh, wow.
And that actually works out very well if you don't have no speakers. Do 4 and you have 2 or 3 speeches. Do 2 or 3 shotgun evaluations, or do the shotgun evaluations with it, and that engages the people.
Okay, one other question. You were saying you put the agenda in the chat. Does this give you time to modify it?
Well, it's a snapshot, right? When you probably at the beginning of the meeting where the roles have been filled and it might have changed, but you just pop it right over there. At least people kind of get an idea, especially what the role, maybe not the names, but they get to say what the roles they have to do, what the duties.
And they can see it ahead of time, and they can see it in real time. I see.
What we do is we print the agenda as a PDF and put that PDF in the chat when we start.
I see. That's what you're saying.
So if there are any guests, right, they would not automatically get the email because they are not in your system yet. So they can just open the PDF and they can see it. I want to show one more thing, if I can. Let me share my. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Go for it.
Okay, so this is something that I had mentioned earlier. I forgot to show this. So when we send the automated email that goes out from FreeToastHost that says, since I'm also a club member, I got this email from myself. It says, looking forward to seeing you in the meeting February 7th at 7:05. As you can see, it replaced all the variables that I had with the actual first name in this case. And it comes in here. And it says, please take a moment to sign up for a role by clicking on sign up below. This is an easy way to sign up. And you have the direct link for the agenda itself, for the actual agenda for that particular week. And then if you look here,
but they have to be members, right? Ram?
They have to be members, yeah, because it only went to the members, asking them to sign up. And you can see here that there is a sign up button for each of the roles that are available. So FreeToastHost already knows that I am in the vote counter role. So it says, do you want to confirm that or drop yourself from that role, which I won't be. And it says, oh, you signed up as a speech number 1. Do you want to confirm that or do you want to drop it? And the way FreeToastHost works is you don't actually have to log into FreeToastHost. You can just click on sign up and it will generate a return email to FreeToastHost, which will actually sign you up. It's actually pretty cool. So this is something that we are using. So that is how the sign up email will work. I wanted to just share that. Try that. I would say play around with it, create a little template with like 4 items, and then check it out with some of your members. You don't have to send emails. You can just see if you can do signups, work with maybe just the officer group, or create a template for just an officer meeting and see if you can use that for some time, see if that works out before you actually start creating a template for your meeting. And I would suggest that use the prepackaged template. Try it, start with that. It's actually pretty decent. That's how we started. We didn't create it from scratch. We are at 8:01, so we've gone 1 minute past.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, David, for such a dynamic session. A lot of great information, Yes, we will have this session posted just as soon as possible. Be sure to fill out the feedback link to let the gentleman know how well they did tonight And if there's something else that you would like for us to present on behalf of Ram Venkat, Distinguished Toastmaster, and David Adams, Distinguished Toastmaster, and my boss, Manny Garcia, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, thank you for attending tonight's session of Leadership Learning. We're jam-packed for February, folks, and hope that you'll attend a future session. We have 3 more sessions coming up this month, so I hope to see you in the future. Have a great evening. Bye.
Thank you. Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.